Your baby is the size of a raspberry and they're growing rapidly. Let's jump into the video and find out what else is happening. At 8 weeks pregnant, your baby is the size of about 1.6 centimetres, and at the end of the week they'll be about 2.3 centimetres, about the size of a small raspberry. This is my trusty little day-by-day pregnancy book, and this is your baby at 8 weeks pregnant. They are still in that little C shape, but their hands and their toes are starting to form little digits, but they're still kind of fused together, but you can start to see the distinct fingers now. Their little ears, which last week were just swellings, are starting to look a little bit more formed, and their eyes have moved around to the front of the head. They have little elbows which are now able to move, and your baby this week is probably going to be starting to make little spontaneous movements. So if you're going to be getting any early scans, you might be able to see your baby do some little wiggles. So what else is happening with baby? Their brain is still developing really, really rapidly, so make sure you're having all of your folic acid and all of your supplements, and their heart is now pumping with 4 chambers. They have an upper lip and their nose is starting to form, so they're starting to look a little bit more human-like. And at 8 weeks pregnant, your baby has now moved from an embryo to a fetus, so you're actually pregnant with a proper little baby now. So how is your body changing and what are your symptoms? Well, the NHS website talks about how your uterus is now starting to push up and out, which is probably going to push on your bladder, so you'll probably need to be peeing more. There are loads of symptoms like a metallic taste, you could be really tired, you can have really bad nausea and sickness, fatigue, bloating, you can have a heightened sense of smell. I had this in my first pregnancy, but I haven't had it in my second. Probably going to be having changes to your taste and your cravings, maybe some food aversions, mood swings, and potentially some light spotting. But if you have this, you're worried about it, speak to your midwife. You might have some milky white discharge, and your hair might be looking a little bit thicker, a little bit shinier, and you might start to have that little bit of a pregnancy glow about you. I myself don't really. Now, I'm going to talk about my experience and my symptoms. I'm going to talk about this retrospectively because I filmed it all at the time. However, my iMac over here, she died, I lost my footage, so I'm re-recording, but luckily I made notes, I was prepared. In week 8, I noticed that I really started to pee more. Again, it's because your uterus is starting to push up a little bit, but it's also because you're processing much more fluid. Your kidneys are actually going to grow by about 1 centimetre to be able to manage the extra fluid that your body's pushing through. So I started to pee more, I started to pee at night a lot more. Nausea at this point was probably the most significant symptom. I wasn't being sick, so I'm lucky for that, but I did have near constant nausea. It was really hard, I'm not gonna lie. I found that I just had to keep on with my routine and just go and do all the classes and whatever I was doing and just try and get through it. Have loads of snacks on hand, water, fizzy drinks, whatever you need to get through. Linked to nausea, I really started to have food aversions at week 7 and week 8. I was a vegan and I really went off any whole foods. I just could not stomach it, to the point where I actually have since stopped being vegan. I just could not handle smells, anything like curry, which is what we used to have loads of the time, just could not have it anymore. And I started to have a lot of cravings. I really craved beans on toast, I really craved tomato soup, particularly the canned variety. I really craved bacon sandwiches and chicken and bacon pasta. In week 8, I really started to have sensitive nipples. My boobs had swollen a little bit, and my nipples were really sore. This was most noticeable to me because I'm still breastfeeding my now 15-month-old, and every time he would latch on, I would sort of have to do a little I've got this and breathe through it. I was having a little bit of insomnia. I was kind of struggling to sleep at the beginning of week 8. By the end of week 8, it had relaxed a little bit. I was bloated a lot, to be honest. I honestly looked kind of the same now. I do it 16 weeks pregnant than I did most of the first trimester. This is normal. It's because of all the changes in your body, and it's also largely because of progesterone, which is increasing in your body. This slows down your digestive tract, so you can have a lot more gas and bloating, and this can also lead to constipation as well, which is something I have unfortunately been struggling with since about week 8. I also had some mood swings and was feeling a little bit sensitive and emotional. Talk to your partner, communicate with whoever you have around you, get some support if you need it. And that was pretty much everything for week 8. So if you want to follow along on the journey, please do hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you for week 9. See you later.